we have to stay on track. We have to maintain the focus of the plan, the goals that we've had at the start of the year. In order to stay on our path and on our plan, our brain must be functioning at a very focused level. In order to help your mind filter through all the garbage data, all the garbage information, all the garbage inputs, and focus on the ones that are core to you, you also have to help it by consciously saying no to those things that are irrelevant or that don't matter to you. So how do you know what to say no to? That's a very good question. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win, or as you know me by now, or if you're new to the show, the Ninja or Prolific Ninja. And because I like all my friends to call me Ninja, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, success, drive, entrepreneurship, fulfillment, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. If you're new to the show, and if you're a listener to the show, as you all know, I always like to begin my show with an expression of gratitude, just like I begin my days. Kind of sets the tone for the show, sets the tone for my day, sets the tone for my life, which is gratitude. And if you want to know my definition of gratitude, go back to episode 1, the original first episode that we recorded over a year ago now. But I'd like to thank everybody here that's new to listening to this episode or this podcast, but then also especially everybody that has been supporting, liking, sharing, commenting, following, subscribing, all of you all that have been helping me organically grow this show. I want to express my gratitude to say thank you very much. And for my listeners, and if you're new to the show, just a reminder that this show is not sponsored. So I do this on my own dime, on my own time. So the only way to grow the show or to grow the message of the show and fulfill our mission, which is to positively inspire and impact billions of lives across this planet, is to share the show. And so I like to say, if you find value in this show, or as you go back to any of my other episodes, if you find value in those shows, whether you liked it, laughed, learned, whatever the case may be, please do share the show. Because as I say, our motto is, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. So thank you to everybody out there in podcast land and YouTube world that are listening and sharing the show, liking and commenting. Thank you so very much. We continue to grow. Absolutely shocked and surprised by the growth that we've had so far, but we're only getting started. So we can only grow if you share the show. So back in the studio, happy to be here. My face is a little lighter. So for those of you on audio only, I've shaved finally all the growth that I've had since No Shave November. So several months of facial hair is now gone. It's summertime. It's getting hot here in Texas. And so just felt the need and desire to show a younger look, so to speak, but also to change it up a little bit. But the episode today is an important one to me because summertime is the time, springtime, summertime is where many of us, if we stay on track, can really catch our stride. Okay, really catch our stride. And in order to do that, we have to stay on track. We have to maintain the focus of the plan, the goals that we've had at the start of the year, to push forward and gain and grab that momentum we had and really escalate. So we're starting to deflect up on that higher slope of a growth curve if we stick to our plan. And in order to stick to our plan, we have to use what I consider the most powerful short sentence of the English language. And the sentence is the word no. N-O, period. To me, that is the shortest, most powerful sentence in the English grammar, in the English language, or in any language for that matter, is the word no. No conveys a meaning, an action, an idea within itself. And why is the sentence, for this podcast, I'll say the word no, so important? Well, I'll get into that in a minute, but with some context, right? In order to stay on our path and on our plan, our brain must be functioning at a very focused level. Okay, so biologically, your brain controls your body, your brain, your mind. Actually, your brain actually controls your mind, right? So we'll talk about that in a future podcast on how you control your mind, which is kind of an oxymoron because people think the brain and the mind are the same thing. In a sense, they are, but in a sense, they are not. But in order to stay focused on your path, your brain, its main function, besides guiding you, its major function actually is the filtration of information that is irrelevant to you. You see, our brain and our eyes and our senses get thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of inputs on a daily basis. Tens and hundreds of thousands. Our mind itself creates tens and tens and tens of thousands of ideas and thoughts on a daily basis. Or some argue, some scientists would say 70 to 100,000 thoughts per day. A lot of that is irrelevant. A lot of that doesn't matter. A lot of that is just gibberish out there that your brain is trying to filter through. It's trying to determine amongst these tens of thousands of ideas, tens of thousands of sensory inputs, eyes, ears, nose, taste, all that information it's intaking. The primary role of your brain is to filter out what matters and what doesn't matter, to retain what's important, whether it's life-threatening, whether it's a focus of your goal, or whether it's a distraction. Your mind's main job is to filter all that through. At the essential core part, it's a survival instinct. Because if you spend all that brain energy on all these things that don't matter, right, what happens? You might miss the one thing that's a threat, right? You're focused on, maybe you're walking down the road, walking down the sidewalk on a busy road, and you're focused on the buildings and the people and all this, and you don't see the car that is out of control coming straight at you. See, so your mind has to maintain ideas of threat, opportunity, survival, and all these other things that you have to filter through, okay? So in order to help your mind filter through all the information that doesn't matter, right, you also have to help it by consciously doing what? Saying no to things that don't matter to you. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. In order to help your mind filter through all the garbage data, all the garbage information, all the garbage inputs, and focus on the ones that are core to you, you also have to help it by consciously saying no to those things that are irrelevant or that don't matter to you. Okay, so you have to consciously start filtering things yourself to say no to in order to stay focused on the goal, on your path to success. This is a success podcast. You have to be able to say no. And why is that important? Well, on a global scale, on a bigger picture, your life's journey is truly, besides helping others and expressing gratitude and inspiring others, it is truly for yourself. Life is about defining who you are. It's finding out, the journey of life is finding out who you are. And people don't think about it this way, but finding out who you are has a lot to do with finding out who you're not, or what's not for you, right? Because what happens in the process of finding out who you are, you're constantly leveling up, pushing the envelope, doing new things, trying to find out who you are, what makes you happy. But conversely, I define what makes you happy by defining what doesn't make you happy and avoiding those things. So as you push your limits, ultimately in multiple directions with multiple subjects like relationship, career, hobbies, things of that nature, your actual goal is to find out what's not for you so you can retain what is for you, right? You avoid what's not for you so you retain what is for you. Okay, it's kind of a roundabout way of thinking it. People keep wanting to define themselves as who they are. The reality is what you're not actually defines who you are. So you have to be able to say no to things that are not for you. And when you say no to those things, you've essentially defined the limit of what is inclusive for you in that subject, right? Dating, for example, not me, but let's say anybody else, I'm not for this type of person. They don't have these values. They don't have the look. Not that it's all about looks, but that's part of attraction, right? The look, the family life, the family value, whatever it is. You're defining things that's not for you in order to find the things that are for you. So you have to be able to say no to those things that are outside of that. Okay? So it's a constant ebb and flow. You're pushing your limits. You're finding new things. You're finding new experiences. And then you ultimately, after you have identified these things, you define whether it's for you or not in order for you to say no to define what should be included. Okay? So the sentence or the word no is exceptionally important to A, define who you are, but then B, keep you on the path of success because you're saying no to all these other outside things that are distracting you. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what do you have? You have 100% of you, of your mind, your spirit, your energy, your vibe, your consciousness, your thoughts. You only have 100%. So if you're busy dispersing that 100% around the outside of things that should not be for you or are not for you, you're wasting that energy and talent and time to define you and to keep you on your path to success, which ultimately defines you as well. Okay? So how do you know what to say no to? That's a very good question. How do you know what to say no to? Okay? My view, and this is key, my view is that whether it's internal thoughts or external environmental things that are impacting you, whether it be your job, your friends, your family, your spouse, your hobbies, whatever, internal thoughts, all these things. Net, there's only three things that can happen. The internal or external factors can A, support you and lift you up. Okay? The thoughts that you have can support you, lift you up. The relationships you have, they can support you and lift you up. Your career path, your job, whatever, can fulfill you and lift you up. When I say lift you up, I'm talking about your overall well-being, your vibration, your frequency, your fulfillment. It can lift you up. Your hobbies can lift you up. They can, two, be neutral. So net, there's no effect, right? These, in a relationship sense, these could be like casual acquaintances or whatever. You know, you can have them, it doesn't really dramatically change your life. Or, obviously, in the third, it can bring you down or have a negative impact on your life, right? Bad relationships, people that bring bad energy, bad ideas, the wrong career path, the wrong hobbies. You know, some people would consider, vaping a hobby or a habit, right? Positive or negative, net, right? All these things. Everything about your life can have only three effects. It can lift you up, be positive. It could be neutral, doesn't matter. Or it could be negative and bring you down, right? So as you're going through life consciously, and I'm not talking about just the gibberish information your brain is automatically filtering out. I'm talking about your conscious thoughts, conscious things, actual things that you're observing. The best things to say no to are obviously the things that are negative, but also the things that are neutral. Because neutral, both of those, neutral and negative, are detractors. They pull away things. Or they waste your time, they waste your energy, they waste your opportunity, right? Because if you're doing neutral things or spending time with neutral people, it's an opportunity cost because you're losing time doing positive things or spending time with positive people. So those things that that are in your life that are neutral or negative, you have to identify those and just simply say no. Simply say no. Protect. No is a protector word also. Protect that energy and try to maintain your energy as positive for growth and evolution as possible. Okay? So that takes conscious effort. That takes an ability to see people, circumstances, what am I trying to say? Actions, activities, entertainment, whatever, hobbies. It takes conscious action and effort to categorize these things and introspection to determine what is the effect on you that these things have. Because if it's neutral or negative, you simply got to say no. You have to say no. Because if you don't, it constantly builds on itself. You start focusing the attention on that. And you add to that because the energy you're focusing on, you attract more of. So if you're focusing on neutral to negative things, rather than saying no to them, it only brings on more neutral and negative things. Conversely, if you're thinking of positive things and you add to it, the energy you're giving off will bring more positive things. Now, that's not to say it's always positive or always negative or whatever. It's an up and down thing. But the overall general slope is going to correlate to what you focus on. So you have to maintain and practice and hone in the skill of saying no. Now, I'll give you a personal anecdote. I have a hard time saying no, right? I'm the kind of guy, and it's hard. If you're an optimistic person, it's hard to say no to a lot of things. I grew up kind of, not a lot of friends, so to speak, because I was so focused on different things. But also, as an immigrant refugee kid, predominantly white suburban kind of, area, didn't quite fit in a lot, right? So I felt, or I sacrificed a lot of myself growing up as, talking about toddler to middle school, let's say, by saying yes. Because I felt that the more I say yes, the more I'd fit in, right? And it's not only until I retrospectively look at my life that I realized that was the wrong thing to do, right? Well, not absolutely the wrong thing. I would say that it is right in the sense that by saying yes, it put me into different groups to understand what I should be saying no to. So, it's not all bad. But the point is that it was hard to say no until I matured enough to understand that I don't need to fit in. I can just be me. And people that fit with me will naturally gravitate to me. So rather than trying to fit in and saying yes, 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 I had to learn to say no. But I'm also, like I said, I'm an optimist, right? So I'm an anything is possible kind of mindset, which you should have. You should have. But part of that anything is possible is learning the ability to filter out grades of possibility, right? There's possible, probable, most likely, and definitely, right? So when people are bringing business ideas, I look at the business ideas, hey, it's possible, and spend time wasting on the possible versus focusing on more of the probable or most likely or definitely going to happen, right? Because I'm looking at all of them, and so I'm wasting a lot of time on the lower end of the range, whereas I could have been focusing more time on the higher probability side of the range. So in other words, I'm saying yes to opportunities, yes to deals, yes, 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 whereas I should have been learning to say no to the lower possibility deals. Because I come with the mindset, like I said, anything's possible. Let's just try it. But then that's also an opportunity cost of focus, time, energy, and resources, right? So I have a hard time, I'll admit to you, I have a hard time saying no. So knowing that now, it's an active action and thought in my part. And I actually have trained myself to constantly be asking myself, should I be saying no to this? That's my personal tool. Feel free to use it too. So when things come up, a call, hey, you want to go do this? Instead of eagerly saying yes, 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 I consciously ask myself, should I be saying no? Should I be saying no? Should I be saying no? And over time, I'm building reps. I'm building my reps, just like practicing basketball or building your body. You got to do reps. I start recognizing patterns before they happen to already know to say no to it, right? So if I'm sitting there doing an activity in my office, in my house, in my wherever, and somebody comes to me with negative energy or a negative thing or whatever, I immediately wall off my energy. I don't even pay attention. I actually ignore it until it's time for me to address it. So people will come into my room and they'll ask me a question and I'll just not even respond because I don't want that negative energy at that moment. So I'll learn to say no through my action by just not even acknowledging or ignoring it. Now, some people might say that's rude, or some people might say, that's it's just rude and not the way to handle things. But that's how I do it in order to preserve what? My energy, my focus. Because once that bleeds out, right, to the wrong thing, it's easy for that hole to open wide open and all your energy is invested in the negative thing or the negative influence. So it's be very, very protective of your energy, of your focus, of your time, of your frequency, of your actions, of all that by learning to say no. It is a challenging thing, 100%. Very hard to do. Everybody wants to be included. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be part of something that's outside of themselves, right? But it's got to be the right thing. It's got to be positive things. Say yes to the positive things, but say no. Say no. Learn to say no to the neutral and negative things. And so again, feel free to use my tool. Anything that pops up, should I be saying no to this? Friends call you up, hey, you want to go out tonight? Should I be saying no to this? Rather than thinking about all the fun you're going to have, it's going to be fun, but are there detrimental things to it? Hangovers, loss of time, loss of sleep, loss of energy, loss of fitness, all these things. Should I be saying no to it? Okay. Hey, you want to go put money in this deal? Sounds like a good deal, but should I be saying no to it? Right? Because once you ask yourself, should I be saying no to it, you'll actually find reasons why you should say no to it, which is helping you, right? And then if you can't find reasons to say no, that means you should go do it. It's a very simple question, right? So learn to say no. And through this podcast, I hope you understand why I believe no is the most powerful short sentence in the English or in the world. It's just simply no. Makes a statement. No. You want to go do this? No. Should we put money into this? No. Should we go here? No. Should we go hang out with these people? No. Right? But if there's reasons that brings positivity, the answer is simple. Yes, let's go. Let's do it. Let's put money in it. Let's invest. Right? But it helps you filter. It helps you filter all the data that you're getting overwhelmed with, thanks to this, the cell phone. All that information you're getting overwhelmed with, it helps you filter. But you got to be active and actionable and conscious about saying no. So stay focused. Springtime, summertime, great time to really catch your stride. Go hard at your goals. Go hard for success, because what happens, right? What happens? You're building all this momentum into the fall and the winter. And what happens in the fall and the winter? People slow down. Society slows down. But if you're building all this momentum over the summer, what happens? You carry that through the end of the year. You carry that through the end of the year. And you all know I don't live by calendar years. I live every day is the same day. But most people live by the calendar year. So what happens? You're going to finish the year strong. Okay, so build that momentum. And to do that, you have to stay focused on identifying who you are, your goals, stick to your plan, keep going, keep moving, be consistent, be persistent, maintain your values. And in order to do all those things, you have to learn to say no. As always, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. If you have any questions and want to reach out to me, feel free to DM me on any of the social platforms at N2N podcast, or email me, ask@the N2N podcast.com. Great bringing you another episode with a clean shaven face. Looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in, watching, listening. And again, please do share the show. If your knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow. Thanks for tuning in.